Hello, hello. There's a bit of a delay on my YouTube. Well, quite a lot of a delay actually. For me, it's looking like I'm freezing. So, can someone let me know if you can hear me and if I am live doing this very impromptu live for everyone on Friday afternoon? Please do let me know if you can hear me. There's a few people watching, so if someone can give me a little yes, we can hear you, then I will know that all is okay, because on my end, oh hi Andrea, thank you, on my end it's really freezing. Oh Dawn, I'm looking between two screens because I've got my chat on that one and the camera on this one, so if I'm looking backwards and forwards, that's because I'm actually looking between two screens, and I've got my fire going in the background and the dog's here, and it's actually sunny here in the UK. So hi Dawn, how you doing? Hi Andrew, how you doing? How is everyone doing? It's still very early for those of you in America, but those in New America, how was your Thanksgiving? How was it for you? What happened? Tell us all in the chat. Tell us all whether it was a different experience to last year's Thanksgiving, if you got together with members of the family who might be on different pages to you. How did that work out for you? Did you respond differently to it this year? Did they respond differently to it this year? Because boy, oh boy, is there a lot going on everywhere. And what you think is going on is very different depending on, you know, what side of the fence you're on and where you're looking to for this information. So anyone who's in America, I would love to know how you're getting on with that and what you're finding. So what we've got here, you caught alive for once. Hi Janet, let us know where you're from in the chat as well. I love seeing where you're all from in the chat. And for once, it's they say, for anyone who's just joined, I'm looking between two different screens so I can actually see the chat for once. So if excuse me if I'm going nodding backwards and forwards like a bobbing doll. Oh, Pat as well. Hi, Pat. How you doing? Hi, Melody. How are you? Yes, it is taking a while. I am having very odd things happening on my YouTube channel. Every single day, I am getting so many people messaging me saying they didn't know I was still doing videos because they haven't seen any of my stuff for ages, even though it's showing they're subscribed to my channel. I can't explain it. I have no idea what's going on. I don't even know why they're doing this, because although I have a suspicion, because a couple of my friends who are far more technically savvy than me have actually said that at the moment there's a lot of censorship for people that are talking about self-empowerment, about natural healing stuff going on. I thought I was staying away from a lot of the controversial discussions, because the more controversial discussions I'm putting on my Rumble channel. However, what I didn't realise, although I suppose I should have, a bit naive of me having been in this line for so long, is that there is still a lot of censorship going on for people that are talking about tapping into your own inner potential, taking back control of your health and your wellness, etc. Who can see one of my lovely dogs on the sofa there? They have had a lovely walk this morning, so they're fast asleep. The other one's on the floor behind me. So we have got Kent, we've got Melody, we've got Greater Manchester, we've got Kansas, USA, we've got Perth, Australia. Penelope, what time is it in Perth, Australia? We've got Tuscan, Arizona. So thank you so much for joining me. So I do apologise for those of you that haven't been seeing any of my notifications on the YouTube. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. Actually, I'm not getting notifications for quite a few of my favourite YouTubers as well. So it's happening to everyone. But yes, Dudley's trying to wake your dogs with his squawking. Oh, thanks, Pat. So what did I want to say? First and foremost, happy Thanksgiving. I know we can look at these holidays, these rituals from different sides, you know, from the good side of things to the bad. But for me, even though we don't celebrate Thanksgiving as such in the UK, it's a bit like, I would put it a bit like my gratitude journal. So we don't need a gratitude journal to remind us to be grateful for what we've got in life. However, having it there helps me set a really good habit. And Dawn, who's on the chat here, knows that this week with the group that I've been working with, my little coaching group, we've been working on habits. And sometimes these reminders, these special days, your gratitude journal, whatever it might be, sometimes they're just really good reminders for us to actually put in practice the things that we know serve us. So I would like to say, I hope everyone had a lovely Thanksgiving. I'm really intrigued to see how it worked out for you, because obviously I can remember the conversations very well last year, and a lot of people having very, very difficult Thanksgivings over the last 2 years with all the differences of opinion going on. So what I'm intrigued as this time is to see how people are going on with that. Thanksgiving isn't just the same. Oh, Dragonfly, sending lots of love for you. I know. And the thing is, lots of our lives have been very much turned upside down. Really sympathize with Dragonfly saying that her husband passed in 2020. And a lot of people have faced this, and life's not the same. But I suppose that's the only thing that we can be sure about is change, you know. So the purpose is what sort of change are we now going to create? So a couple of things I wanted to say. I'm not sure how many people know actually, but my main day job, so to speak, for the last 20 years has been as a holistic health practitioner. So I am a biologist. I do a lot of holistic health things with humans and animals. So I use lots of different modalities, different products that you've heard me talk about, different tools and techniques, you know, pulling everything together, because I absolutely don't believe there's one panacea solution. What we all need can change for all of us at different stages in our lives, depending on our budget, depending on what our belief systems are. But over the last year in particular, what I've noticed is I'm having so many people every day contact me saying, I've got this wrong with me, my animal's got this wrong with me, I don't have anything at home, what can I get hold of quickly, etc. And for one of the things I teach very, very strongly in all aspects of our lives is be prepared, as much as we can be, to be prepared. So what I mean by that is part of the reason I spend so much of my time talking about health and wellness, and that could be free things like cold showers, like breathing techniques, like meditation, or it could be paid supplements, or it could be working with a coach or a therapist, all sorts of every scale that will be different for everyone. But part and parcel of taking our sovereignty back and creating the life we want is being prepared. So everyone knows it's Black Friday this week. Black Friday is a commercial thing, trying to force people to spend more money. But people at the moment have got less and less disposable incomes because of all the costs of living, etc., we've all been through, that we're going through with electricity, with gas, with food, etc. But what I suppose frustrates me probably more than anything is when people sort of watch a lot of stuff, educate themselves, but then they don't have stuff in their kit. So I've got my ASEA, I've got my roots, I've got my stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about that you'll find on my Rumble channel and my Telegram channel. I've got my essential oils, I've got my herbs, I've got my daily practices. Now, I know that might sound a lot, but I've got a family of two-legged children, elderly relatives. I've got a lot of animals in my care. So making sure that I'm prepared and I've got things in my first aid kit should I need them, even if they're things that you can't afford to take on a regular basis, is really, really important. So, for example, my daughter, who's a brilliant soccer player, has just really unluckily had a really nasty tackle and torn really badly. She's going to have an operation. Her ACL, her cruciate ligament, plus a lot of other damage to her knee. Now, she's unfortunately been through this before with the other leg. But the great thing is because I had all the stuff in our first aid kit, we could start her natural treatment immediately it happened, which massively increases the chance of a successful outcome from this. Same with my animals. I've got a lot of stuff that I have in my first aid kit. And please do keep a look at my www.catherineedwardsacademy.com, but also my Instagram page, because I share a lot of stuff on that. So one of the things I would say is Black Friday, take advantage if you're drawn to particular things to have in your first aid kit. Next week, I'm going to be speaking to John White, who does the Spooky 2 and red light therapy devices and other healing devices, all of which as a therapist, I've been using for years and years with my clients and my family. But the beauty is now is we've got these amazing people that are bringing the prices down to make them affordable to members of the public. And with a lot of these things, if you've got like-minded friends that live near you, if you can't afford them yourself, why not club together and have like a little medicine cabinet of equipment and things that you can pull on as a community, as a local community, as and when the needs arise. So thank you, Andrea, for putting the Instagram link in there. So my main message on that side of things is I don't promote Black Friday because I want to go out and buy new jumpers or clothes or sofas or things like that. But it is, for those people on a limited budget, it's a fantastic opportunity to get some of these health products or health tools that you've been wanting, even if you club together with friends to pool resources. I do that a lot with friends. You know, we'll have different things in stock so that at least we know that there's someone nearby that's got them, because there's nothing worse than having an emergency of someone being really ill. Like the last week and a half, I've been quite unwell with what you would call traditional flu symptoms, probably due to overwork and lack of sleep. But actually, I've been able to pull myself out of it really quickly because I've got all the right stuff in stock. There's no point me waiting till I get really ill and then having to wait a week for something that I need to get through. So I wanted to say that to people, being prepared. We've talked about prepared on the financial side of things, on the spiritual side of things, whether it's EMF. I'll try not to use too many trigger words on this. So let me know in the chat, what are you doing to be prepared? And, you know, have you got any people in your local community that you could pull resources for that, so that you don't have to do it all yourself? Now, where do you find this information? Because we can't find a lot of the really helpful information on this platform and things like Instagram. So Instagram, I share the things I'm allowed to share on, but I have 2 Telegram channels. The links are below this video in the description box. I've got a Catherine Edwards Life Telegram channel, and I've got a Catherine Edwards Health Telegram channel. The health one is just all about natural health and wellness solutions. So don't put other stuff. The Catherine Edwards Life, I share that stuff, but I also share interesting videos. So for example, thank you, Andrew. You are amazing at putting the links in. So for example, I've shared a really, really good video today, which I found really incredibly helpful and uplifting on my Catherine Edwards Life Telegram from Patriot Street Fighter. So I would like to thank all of my listeners who actually send me in the good videos, because I'm spending sort of all day, every day researching. My passion for research. Yes, I absolutely want to look at what's going on in the world events, and I'm going to come on to that again in a minute. But equally, I'm really, really passionate about providing people with health and wellness solutions for themselves and for their animals, because there is a lot that's being done to us through the air, through the food systems, through the water, through medication, through all sorts of things. But equally, there's so many solutions out there for those of us that know where to look. Yes, they make it difficult to know where to look. So that's why things like, at the moment, Telegram, Rumble, and please do sign up to my newsletter. So if you go to my catherineedwards.life website, that's where you'll find all the products that I endorse and recommend. And I only endorse and recommend things that I personally use myself. See, I've got my lovely structured water cup here with my echinacea tea in. But you can sign up to a newsletter there. And Andrea, who works with me, and myself, we've just put a lot of effort into changing newsletter to its provider, because can you believe it? MailChimp was censoring us massively as well and not letting us send out certain health and wellness information. So now we've changed providers, and so far so good on that one. Amazing. So the Spooky 2 Melody, I'm going to be over the next couple of weeks talking to John about that. Spooky 2 is something that a lot of my natural health practitioners and things have been using for years and years. And I'm so delighted that so many people are finding out of this. one of my real passions, and I'm very highly qualified in it, is red light therapy. So I'm going to be talking about that as well, because it's so lovely to see amazing people that are bringing this out at affordable prices so that general members of the public can afford them, or if not, share them in community. So what else did I want to say? Rumble. I've got a few more chats that will be coming up on my Rumble. Now, what I have noticed is if you log on to Rumble on the computer, you can see all the big descriptions that I put below my videos. But when you look at the Rumble app on the phone, it's not just my videos, it's everyone's videos. They don't show the descriptions. So, for example, I did a really lovely interview a couple of weeks ago with, I'll say it really quickly, Dr. Andreas Kalka, on some amazing healing solutions for the stuff I can't mention, but it's in all my newsletters and on my Telegram. And a lot of people have been asking me where the links are, because on some of the devices, it doesn't show all the links below. So again, we have got a newsletter with all those links on. So please do sign up to my newsletter, because I don't know what it is. I'm very grateful with Rumble that they're letting us post these videos. I won't mention that name anymore, otherwise YouTube don't like it. However, for some reason, it's not showing the description with the links. And we do put a lot of effort into putting those links together so that you can empower yourself to get the information. I'm not sure what the glitch in that system is, but unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. Equally, if I put all those links on my website, I've had people take enforcement notices against that quite a few times. So I get into trouble there. So at the moment, my hands are a bit tied. So Telegram and newsletters are the sort of safest way for me to get that information out to you all at the moment. So what I would like to know from all of you is, how are you all feeling at the moment? There's so much going on, isn't there? Who else is feeling this emotional roller coaster of sort of up and down and up and down? Please do let me know in the chat how you're feeling. And hi from Pittsburgh, Marissa, as well. And just saying, yeah, it's lovely. Everyone's sending you dragonfly love and best wishes. So please do let us know in the chat, how are you all feeling at the moment, and what information is getting through to you? You know, how are you finding, like, for example, the decode of, say, President Trump's speech? You know, how many people have you seen stuff like that? I know Derek Johnson has done some amazing stuff on that. I'm just really intrigued to say, are people finding the information? Thank you, Don. That's really kind. I went through a stage, probably for about the last 6 months, where I really pulled away from what we would call intel, because I wasn't seeing much happening. And I was, to be 100% honest and transparent with you, getting a little bit fed up with people coming out with predictions, timescales. This is going to happen. This is pretending that they knew what was happening when it was blatantly obvious that they didn't. So I pulled away from it all. I took time to really work on myself. So this year has been very much for me about working on myself. Like Dragonfire, you know, it wasn't my husband Dragonfire, but I lost my father in quite very difficult circumstances in June 2020. And I think because there was so much going on there and there was so much things to sort out, I hadn't really to process that, and probably still haven't. Because I'm very much the type of person that's very focused on what can you do, not what can't you do. However, you do also have to go in and feel all those emotions and let it sink in and see what's happening. So I know that everyone's going through these different things with people, different situations. We've all been hit by different challenges over the course of our life, not just the last 3 years. But what I've noticed with myself, and I'd be interested to see if anyone else has noticed this, that over the last month, I've been very much more drawn into, okay, now I've gone in and I've done a lot of the inner work. I'm just reading what Pat's saying. We seem to be fighting in for an infel, but feel it's just coming to those awakened souls. Yeah, I think that's very, very true, Pat. I had some very interesting discussions this week with some very close family members, and however much inner work I've done, isn't it challenging when you're desperately trying to get someone else to see your point of view, and then you have to realise, no, you can't force people to see your point of view, but it's bloody frustrating, isn't it? Because our whole education system and our whole journalistic system now, and the news and the information sources and the internet is so corrupt. So I think it is a challenge, but I suppose I've got to a stage where I've recharged my batteries and now I'm ready and raring to go. Hence the fact, please do sign up to my Rumble channel, because you're going to start seeing over the next few months more and more information going on there, unless something drastically changes on this platform that we're on, which I'm not hopeful for. So who have I got coming up? I've got Dr. Christiane Northrop, which I had to reschedule from when I wasn't feeling well. Dr. Christiane Northrop, what an absolutely amazing lady. I mean, in all sorts of ways. I've done lots of chats with her before, most of which are over on my Rumble and BitChute. So we don't know whether this is going to be a YouTube friendly one or not. We don't really plan it. We get on there and we see what happens. And then that's why I have to record interviews like that, because who knows what's going to come out, because things are changing so quickly. I've got Ishmael Perez coming up again in a couple of weeks' time, the second week of December. Again, we had to reschedule that one due to me being ill and him being out on his book tour. I've got some amazing videos. Now, this really fascinates me, and I'd love you to have a look. I'll come back to the comments in a minute. Beautiful man called Guru Dev that I posted an interview up earlier this week, and there'll be another one going on next week. This one was about the ego, which is so important for us to understand, particularly as you were saying, Pat, when we're having these conversations with other people that are on different wavelengths to us. And then this week is, I just loved it. It was a beautiful chat. And these ones don't get many views because people haven't heard of him, but the wisdom and the advice that we can all use is amazing. So later on this week, next week, there'll be another one going up with Guru Dev on relationships and how to tackle them. We start to get into the nitty gritty of real life situations in coded words that you'll understand that are affecting us all. Because it's all very well saying, I'm just having a quick look at my very messy desk. I'm in the middle of accounts, so I have paperwork everywhere. But, it's all very well saying doing the inner work, isn't it? Do the inner work. But what does that actually mean? And how can that affect global response? Let me have a look at some of your comments. So, yeah, Pat and a couple of other people are saying SG Anon is so calming when he talks. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Don's saying a roller coaster of emotions going through for what will happen from the truthers predict. I think, yeah, it's really hard. What I'm wondering, I appreciate everyone for the role they're playing in this. Please know, I really do appreciate that everyone's got a different role. But I do find it very frustrating when people keep coming out, and not going to mention any names, but keep making predictions, keep saying this and talk about things. There's a big difference between having a discussion and saying, when people differentiate what they know and they've really researched in fact, or they know from proper intelligent sources, and what their opinion is. So a lot of what I'm doing, apart from when it's talking about the health and wellness side of things, which is something I will put my hand up and I have been working in for 20-30 years, and I do have so much practical knowledge, experience of seeing what works and what doesn't, and of course I'm always learning new things. But I don't have any military intel sources. I have none. So when I'm having those sort of conversations, I'm pulling information out of people that know more than me, which is why my channel's all about expanding consciousness through curiosity, because I need to learn. How can I make the best decisions for myself and my family when I don't know this? And thank you, Joanna. That's so kind about my father. That's really kind. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, Don, that must be so hard for you working the NHS. I worked for the NHS for a while, both as a short stint working for them, quite frankly, as a consultant looking after a lot of their data, IT, property, etc., and very rapidly couldn't stay because of the way I saw things being run. But then I worked for them for quite a long while as a consultant. And I'll be careful what I say, but I've had a lot of careers, professional careers in business. So I've worked for Nokia for a long while, which actually I cannot fault at all. When I worked for them, they were the most amazing. I can remember sitting in a board meeting at Nokia. This must be going back 20 years now. And the management team talking then about how The Matrix was a documentary. I was working with a lot of really awake people at that time and didn't even know it. But I was specialised in EMF and environmental protection things. So I've got a lot of experience about what all these different frequencies can do for the good, but also what they can do for the bad. I've had a long career in environmental management and in water chemistry. So I've known for ages what they're putting in our water is a disaster. And if most people in developed countries knew what was really in their water, they would be horrified at what it does. I would like to... I've worked for a long while in natural health and natural remedies and worked with humans and animals for that. So I've got a lot of experience in that. There's all these different careers I've had that at the time I thought there was no link in, and now I can see exactly why I needed to have all that information, of course, as my academic career as well. Caroline's Gordon, people how to do EFT and tapping. Yes, Caroline, please do send me an email, because I think tapping is a fantastic resource that I use for people working with animals as well. So I think that would be absolutely wonderful. That's really great. Please do. Anyone who's doing that, my email address is always below. So please do contact me if you've got things that you think can help people at this time. I'm really, really open to that. But I would encourage people to look at those interviews with Guru Dev on the ego and the one coming out next week on relationship, because I know it's very tempting for us to look out for the big names, but this person has been teaching. He's 90 years old. He's one of the original gurus over from India. His wealth of knowledge about how when we work on ourselves and tools and techniques for ourselves, how it really does impact our world that we experience. And everyone on here, is anyone who's watching me, is so passionate about they're so passionate about helping. You all are. You're so passionate about really moving the world forward, but we've got to get these tools up to the really great level ourselves, because people aren't going to take us seriously unless they can see that we're actually putting it into practice ourselves. So for me, it's a little bit frustrating, really, to see. From my point of view, there's so many people that aren't well-known names that are sharing such important information that really, in my opinion, could shift humanity forward and shift our timelines of what we want to see happening forward so quickly. But they're not the ones that get the views. So I could get loads of people on that would get loads of views on my YouTube channel, but what I'm questioning is how helpful is that really to us achieving reality. It's a bit like having a glass of wine and a cake. You get that short-term satisfaction and it makes you feel good at the time, but is it actually moving things forward? So that's where I'm at the moment. But please do let me know whether you want different things on there and what you would like to see. Pope Dope, I love some of your names. Love Guru, he's brilliant, isn't it? Pat's been standing with other colleagues across Leicester and Northampton at the Clock Tower and Leicester City Centre on Saturday afternoons. Oh, you've been hiding out the light paper. That's fantastic, Pat. You see, this is brilliant when you hear people doing things like that. We've got Meredith from Norway. That's lovely, Pat. I'm loving seeing how many people are doing such practical things like that really is making a difference. If we can just open one person's mind, then this transition is going to be near to all of us. If any of you on here have contacts with Rupert Sheldrake, I'd love to get Rupert Sheldrake on. He's the most amazing man. And he does a lot about collective consciousness and about how we all tap in, and animals and plants and everything, into whatever you want to call it, the divine matrix, collective consciousness. And it's such a real thing in terms of every one person that we do it. But I know I make rude jokes. I'm very unpolitically correct. Like, let's not I wouldn't go to an aerobics class with a fat aerobics instructor, because if I'm going to an aerobics class, I expect the instructor to look fit and healthy, something that I aspire to. It's a bit like if we're not an example of being able to express ourselves calmly, compassionately, and have some facts to back that up. And facts don't have to be academic facts. Facts can also be that we are fit and healthy ourselves, that we are putting into practice what we preach with these spiritual practices. Then we can't really expect people to listen to us. You know, anyone in the UK who's watching Matt Wancock on I'm a Celebrity, you know, seriously, I think you'll know what I'm talking about there. Honestly, you can tell when people are being authentic and when they're putting on an act. Yeah, that's honestly, I cannot believe that. Just shows where the world has got to, where a sitting politician is on I'm a Celebrity. And quite frankly, I know where I'd like to put the snakes, and it wouldn't be up his head, it would be down his trousers. I could get a lot harder talents. I think they should employ me to set those challenges where no animals would be hurt, but I can assure you some of the slime balls would be given a lot less of a pleasant thing. I think one of the challenges would be, okay, take this. You know, that would be a good bush chucker trial, wouldn't it? There you go. If you're so into it, let's give you another one now. Let's see how many we can pump into you in one challenge. I'm being mean now. Paula, the drip of info is maddening. Yeah, isn't it interesting? Now, on my Telegram channel, I posted a beautiful interview that Patriot Street Fighter did with an anonymous person who had some brilliant information. I thought the way they put their information across, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but a lot of it really resonated with me as being authentic. And what they were saying is I think they explained it really, really well, Paula, about how why things are taking so much time, the scale of what we've got to uncover. How many of you over the last year, Natalie, save us now, yeah, exactly, from Matt Wancock in the jungle. The trouble is, I use these acronyms so much now, Matt Wancock, that I forget that when I'm talking to a neighbour or something, I forget that his name is actually Hancock, and I call him Wancock to everyone. And of course, some of my elderly neighbours don't appreciate that language. So I need to sort myself out and remember who I'm speaking to at that time. So I think it is maddening, but equally, I do see now, even though I don't want to admit this, but I'd love your opinions on it. I do seriously think that people don't change unless something happens to them to make them change. So we hear Joe Dispenza and people like that talking about it all the time, about how most people won't make serious changes to the health decisions in their lives until something catastrophic has happened to their health or that of a loved one. And I think the problem is, what I've seen is I saw the pandemic change everything. And then as soon as like places like the UK, where a lot of the restrictions have been lifted for ages, we forget things so quickly unless it's really hit us hard. So I can really understand, even though I hate it and I wish human personality wasn't like this and we could change it in a nutshell if we were really going to start doing things differently. But I think, you know, what is it about human nature that has to hit rock bottom before we change? We've got to change this. No other species in nature would survive like this. So there's something inherently wrong by the way that we wait that happen. And I think if everyone in this movement, let's call it the Truth and Movement, well, I hate that name. I know everyone says I hate that name, but the empowering, the open mind, I'd rather call it something like the open mind movement. Is I was saying this when I was talking to Sherry Diffband this earlier on this week, and I was challenged with this really badly last night when speaking to a family member, and I didn't do very well at it, so I'll hold my hand up for that. But wouldn't it be wonderful if we were the ones that were really setting the example of doing the inner work, so we could put things across in an unemotional, calm, compassionate way, rather than trying to force our belief systems on others? Because I think so much damage was done in the first year and a half of this movement by the ridicule, calling people stupid, calling people sheep, which quite frankly was a complete insult to beautiful sheep. I think that did so much damage to our credibility. When you can provoke someone, whether it's in a boxing ring, on a football pitch, in a debate, when you can provoke someone to react from that real emotional place, when you're reacting from a place of emotion, not constructive considered action, then unfortunately you've lost it with a lot of people and lost your credibility. And I do see that a lot. I understand why we're so frustrated. And I completely lost it with someone last night, because I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that you cannot see, because it's always those ones that you're closest to that perhaps you don't speak to in the same way. So what I'm trying to work on is taking it back a bit and saying, okay, how can I present myself in a different way that's not going to just cause each of you to just bash up against each other like two deer rutting that they are at the moment and making the weirdest noises near us. So again, suggestions for that, let us know. I always say I'm going to keep these brief, and once I get chatting, I waffle off for ages because I love looking at the comments. Caroline, yes, there's loads of frequencies for many ailments. Just be really careful when you're looking on YouTube and things, because remember, just make sure it's from a really credible source when you're looking at the frequencies, because remember that there can be a lot of nefarious people putting frequencies on there as well. And Paula loves Scott McKay, is amazing, and Dr. Northrop. Yeah, looking at the things. So I think let's share with each other ideas about how we can put this across. When you find people that do put things across, as I say, nip along to my Telegram channel after this and listen to that Scott McKay interview. Absolutely brilliant. And let's see how we can keep improving the way we do things, because as it's well known, definition of insanity is keep doing the same things and getting the same keep behaving the same way or doing the same actions and expecting to get a different result. If we're really going to wake the next load of people up, or we're really looking to do, like Andreas Kalker explains, I'm not looking to convince anyone. What I'm looking to do is get people to start asking questions in a different ways, to keep an open mind, to stop this black and white delusional thinking where we think, right, we've been told the answer, that's it, move on. Because we've got to hit that critical mass before we're going to see what we have to do. And personally, I don't want to wait for this catastrophic event to keep happening. I really don't. What I want to do is I want to make sure that we can make these changes before we have to have, as Joanna Savin says, the near-death experience, because quite frankly, I don't want to go through that. I think a lot of people, particularly the elderly and the vulnerable, I think it will finish them off if we get to that stage. So I personally think it's up to those of us that are keeping a question mind, keeping researching, keeping working on ourselves, to put enough actions into place so that we don't have to get to that near-death experience, because quite frankly, that's not going to be good for a lot of people, and the people that are going to be hit hardest from it are going to be the most vulnerable, in my opinion. So that's my 2 pennies worth. Let me finish with please connect to my Telegram channels and my catherineedwards.life newsletter, because there's so much here. Please do not email me about how do I use this for individual conditions and things, and I've got cancer, or my dog's got cancer, or anything like that. What can I do about it? And expect me to give one quick liner answer in an email. I offer consults, one-to-one consults for people and animals, and you can find those the Zoom consult page on my catherineedwards.life. I only recommend products that I 100% know and trust and use for myself, my family, my animals, and also my clients of all species. I really implore you to take advantage of these Black Friday sales. Let's turn the bad, the manipulation against them, and let's use them to stock up. It doesn't have to be anything to do with what I'm promoting. I'm not asking you to, buy products that I'm peddling. I do support a lot of my work through the products, and I'm really happy to do that. But whatever it resonates with you, doesn't have to be anything to do with mine, but please, because It makes me cry when I get 5 emails all at once on a Saturday evening when I'm sitting down to relax at long last saying, this has happened, a catastrophe, I've got nothing here, what can I do? I'm hopeless. I can't help you if you've got nothing in there to prepare for it. So please get yourselves prepared. It's so, so important. You know, we've got to start taking responsibility for ourselves. And if we don't have our health, we have nothing. So what could be more important than, just picking that up? There's so many things that you can do, like Visionary Endeavours is saying, drinking water with crystals in it. You can pray, you can say lovely things to your water, you can get structured water if you can't afford a water filter, you can get out in nature, you can ground yourself, you can learn to do breathing exercises. That both interviews that I've done with Guru Dev, one's up on my channel now and one's going up next week. He does the most beautiful meditations at the end, and they're only about 10 minutes long. So every single person could cut that, it will just re-listen to that bit and do that every day, and even that will transform your life, and it will do for free. He's also got a website that the links are below the video where you can go and sign up and join free online meditations every Monday and Friday. These people are amazing what they're offering out there for people for free. So there really is no excuse. And please do feel free to email me. Do feel free to let me know who you want to see on the channel. Do feel free to let me know in the comments below so that you can share and support everyone else with what you're doing and what's working for you, because all of these ideas, you'll resonate with someone else and just give them an idea of something that they can take a step. But please, let's all of us in this community and share this far and wide. Let's the truther community, instead of being called conspiracy theorists, let's be the ones that people look up to and say, wow, they are walking their talk. We all know what it feels like to be around people that have got that calm, confidence, leadership skills. You know, whether you like him or not as a controversial character, Caesar Milan, the way he does it with the dogs, you've only got to see the way dogs react to him and dogs react to other people. I'm not going to get into a debate with anyone about his methods, because he deals with the ones that humans have completely screwed up. So it's last chance corral. But we know what it's like to be with someone. If you're in a dire situation, do you want to be someone that's calm, confident, prepared? Or do you want to be with someone that's panicking and screaming and saying, let's get the hell out of here? I know which one I want to be, which group I want to be part of. So let's be that group. Let's be that example, and let's see if we can get that critical mass, that collective consciousness up, so that we don't have to hit this near-death experience, and we can do it an easier way, not just for humanity, but for all creatures, great and small. So fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, brilliant, UK Natty. With the zeolites, be really careful which zeolites you use as well. So all these things, just do your research, you tune into your intuition, and most importantly, look out for the results you're getting. Thank you so much for joining us. Pat, if I was up there, I'd be coming and getting one of those magazines off you. Let's keep sharing, keep doing whatever resonates with you. As Andrea, thank you, Andrea, for putting all the links in the chat. And as Andrea said, if you like this message, please do like and share, because a lot of people are not seeing these messages, and it really helps the algorithms. And thank you all for supporting each other. Have a fantastic weekend. Let's see what next week brings, and let's create it. Take care, everyone. Bye.